it's been a little while since I've done a full video. I mentioned before within my last couple little videos, including my intro, that soon I'll be doing some Dark Souls stuff. I did a poll on Twitter for my second playthrough. I just finished Dark Souls 3 a little while ago, and I was wanting some tips and tricks and maybe a good couple suggestions for my next one. I was kind of hoping just to do a Dex or Strength build, just because I kind of got used to just using a sword and shield and that kind of thing. But I did have a friend on Facebook. His name is Matthew. He's been a friend since middle school, really. And he's always been that kind of Dungeons and Dragons, fantasy, planning, and that type of stuff. And these type of games are very right up his alley. So he suggested me doing a Pyro build. He's actually given me a couple weapons to use. So I'm hoping that my build, I can get my strength and dexterity up to wield those weapons by the time I get to them. If I don't, I'll probably be using the deep battle axe found in Lothric Castle. But I'm going to try to do this as about 100% as I can. I did pretty good through my first run through, trying to get everything. And I've been doing some test runs through each section to make sure I try to get everything. I'm also going to try not to die, but it's Dark Souls and dying is sort of part of the game. But I'm going to try to show everybody as well that anybody who wants to watch this can also kind of learn how to try to get everything. And all that. I'm probably not going to buy all the spells and all the items and stuff this time, or at least at the beginning through the playthrough. Also, towards the end, once I do defeat the game, I also hope on purchasing the DLC, and it will actually be my first time through all of that. Right now I'm also going through kind of a New Game Plus mode with my old character to kind of see the differences there. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep in all the cutscenes. I will probably skip most of the dialogue. I'll try to tell you as much as I can, but again, I'm not an expert at the game, so I don't want to seem condescending to anybody who either has played the games before, or even somebody who's new, who may be looking for another type of walkthrough with someone who's more fresh in the series. Because I started off with Neo, and then I kind of moved to Bloodborne, and kind of realized I kind of needed to go back to the roots. So in this case, I decided to do Dark Souls 3, and I actually really enjoyed the game. This is the first one that I've actually beaten, and I hope on to go after this through other games. But okay, we're going to go ahead and start here pretty soon. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and go through the cutscene. I'll be a little quiet through some of that, and then I'll try to explain the stuff that I'm doing as I'm doing it.
Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, Saint of the Deep, Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the Giant. the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is.
Alright, so that's the first cutscene. It sort of gives you some of the story. Of course, the story in Dark Souls really isn't all that important. But if you want to know it, there's some other YouTube channels that goes into the lore and stuff. I'm really not going to touch on much of that because that's just a lot of extra research. But we come up to the creating screen. The name I went with is sort of a take on the name Bellfire. Me and my wife kind of got obsessed with Once Upon a Time. And in fact, when we got pregnant with our second child, had my child been a boy, his name would have been Bellfire, which a lot of people looked at us funny when we said that. Instead, though, it became she was a she, and we named her Serenity after Firefly. So I went with Bellpire. Most of the stuff is important. I do go with the pyromancy. It makes sense. I went with the Sovereignless Soul because you get an extra 2,000 souls at the very beginning, which is nice. Like I said, I'm going to try to do all the battles and all that stuff. I had previously created a look for him that I knew I was going to use. So, yeah, and I kind of made them. So like I said, a lot of this is just cosmetics, but if you're doing the pyromancy, you kind of need to start with the pyromancy because you start with the Great Swamp Ring that you won't get till much later on the Road of Sacrifices, and you have to kill 3 giant crabs to get it. Here you can get it for free. I'm also playing this offline, so there won't be any invadings by PvP, and I won't be summoned randomly into stuff, which is fun to play through, but when you're trying to do a playthrough walkthrough, you don't really want that. I'm also going to try to stay embered up as much as I can so that we can get the computer invaders in, because I actually missed quite a bit of that in the first playthrough. So here we are at the starting area, and like typical Dark Souls, there's very little tutorials. There's some messages on the ground that you can read that you sort of get an idea of what you play. But this is one of those games where pretty early on you may need to go onto the internet or go on to YouTube and see if you can find some answers. So I'm going to try to show you some of the different things. This is the move set for the axe, and like I said, I will be using a deep axe for a good chunk of the playthrough. But it's a pretty decent weapon, especially since you're a pyromancer. You're going to be leveling up intellect and faith a lot for your spells. So it's kind of interesting that you have like a warrior weapon for your magic. And it does have a war cry as its weapon skill. But so I'm going to try to do a few things. I'm going to try to parry this guy. I've been trying to test and practice my parries. Like I said, I'm going to do everything. There's a soul down here. We're going to go grab that real quick. But I'm going to try to show you some tips and tricks. Do some backstabs. That's the one thing about this opening little second. It's not so much a tutorial as so much as a way to practice. Because these guys probably won't kill you. You don't usually get more than a couple of them in one section. So it's a good way to practice, especially since most of the beginning of the game. Yeah, see, it's just a strafe round to the backstab. But it's definitely a good, like a playground mode. Than more than really a tutorial. Yeah, I'm going to take off the soul because I don't want to use it. I try to save my souls instead of trying to do it in the middle, since when you die, you'll lose your souls. So a lot of times, especially at the beginning, once I get back to the Firelink Shrine, I will use all those souls and get a bigger pile so I can level up with or buy stuff with. Of course, you might know the first, except for the knight, all the shields that you get for the starting classes aren't 100% physical, which is why I'm not really doing a lot of shielding, because you're going to take damage anyways. So unless you're just really, like, if it's a really fast character, I'll use my shield like the dogs or something. But right now, I'm kind of trying to test the movements. And you'll also notice I haven't used my spells yet. But I'm about to, because I'm going to go ahead and do this. This is kind of optional. That message right there will say go back. But I wanted to, like I said, I want to show you everything in the areas, and I want to try to have like the best start. And this is a guy that really has a pretty high defenses, especially since at this point I haven't leveled up any of my stats. So I switched over to my Pyromancy Flame instead of the shield, and I start just chunking fireballs at it. And I just dodge out of the way. I try to be distance. It does have a jump attack, and this crystal lizard thing also has that roll right there that you see. It can be kind of difficult in times to try to stay in fire throwing range. But because of it, though, usually it's pretty easy to heal. It's pretty easy to heal up on mana. I can tell you this, that I don't have enough FP or mana or whatever you want to call it. I've already counted it. There's not enough to kill this guy just with fireballs. So eventually I will have to switch over to the axe. But it's not too bad. Also, I don't know if I can do it here, but I've had times where just with the fireballs I can actually stagger the enemy and go in for a riposte. I don't think you can parry this guy, so I didn't even try. And to be honest, I'm really not that great at parrying, unless it's kind of a simple enemy. I can parry them fairly easily. Like the knights, I tend to parry a lot of the knights just because it's the easiest way to kill them. But see, at this point I switch back to the shield. As I'm putting the shield up when I'm far away just because I'm afraid sometimes that they'll jump. I'm going to try not to have to do that too much during this playthrough because I need to get used to not having to use my shield all the time. Because this is not going to be a shield user. Plus, when I get the weapon that I've been told to use is the demon great axe, and it's going to need like 27 strength. And I may not be able to get all the way up to 27 strength, but I'm at least get enough strength to at least two-hand it. So I may not be using a shield much anyways. Definitely don't forget the soul item. And like I said, you get a Titanite scale for defeating it, which it seems really great, but of course it takes a while for your weapons to be reinforced to a point where they even need a Titanite scale. The first several levels of a weapon are going to be Titanite shards and large shards before you get to scales. But we're about to go to the first bonfire. Anybody who's played Dark Souls know that that's really what Dark Souls is about, and especially 3, from what I've noticed. I've played a little bit of 2, I've played Bloodborne and all those, but there's actually quite a few bonfires, so really the game is just, even though it's all kind of an open world-ish, it kind of reminds me of Mario, if you just take it bonfire to bonfire. So you just got to learn the section, and yes, it kind of circles around itself and does all that, but that's sort of what the game boils down to. See, like I said, I'm not super great at parrying, but like I said, the cool thing is I'm right next to the bonfire. Even if I had died, I could just go and grab the souls. But this is the path that I take through it. It seems to be the easiest. It'll be easier not to be ambushed. Yeah. I do like the jump axe attack. It's nice, and it will pretty much always kill these guys in one blow. Jump down here to the coffin. This is where we learn the plunge attack. Like I said, shield's not 100%, so even though I put it up, I'm trying to dodge it. Yeah, and I got the cleric's thing, that's for miracles, which I won't be using for now. That's the one good thing about a Pyro build, though. I will probably be getting some miracles and some sorceries, because I'm automatically going to be upgrading all those stats anyways. So here, just so I don't get knocked off, I kill the spear and shield guy, and then I'll plunge attack the crossbow. And here I'll pick up my fire bombs, which of course really aren't as big of a deal because my main magic spell is a fireball pretty much, but sometimes it's nice to have it because as of right now I only have the one magic flask. for my FP, and it'll be that way until I at least get past the first boss. So you can come up here. There's going to be a few of these. Definitely try to take them out one at a time. Get away from the cliff. It takes about, the ones with the longer swords takes 2 swings with a normal attack, but they all can be killed with a strong attack or a jumping attack. It's definitely a game where you don't want to button mash, because it actually, there's almost like a buffer to the controls, where if you put a couple attacks in twice and you try to roll in between the attacks, really because you've already pressed the second attack, most of the time it's going to do that second attack whether you want to or not. So but now that I've got everything, I go ahead and rest just so I can get my health back up and my magic back up. And these are the only 3 enemies I really kill. They're really easy, don't have to worry too much, and then I'll go fight the boss. I'm going to try to beat this boss on the first try. I may not. I haven't been playing with the pyromancer stuff for very long, and this guy seems like it'd be easy. There's a lot of space that you can be in the distance and chunk him with fireballs. He's actually pretty quick, even with healing. So because of that, also his second form is more weaker to the fire than his first form. So I'm going to try and use my physical attacks and my axe to whittle him down until he's transformed. I'm going to try to guess when he's about to transform, so that maybe I can throw a fireball or 2 into him during his transformation scene. That seems to work before. But if I die, I mean, I'll show you, you know, the good things about dying in a Dark Souls game. Right. Dodging. I get greedy here because I just want to get him down to his second form. Alright, there we go. I'm trying to use all of my stamina so I can at least get 1 dodge. Oh, that's badly timed. Let's see, he should be about to transform any time now. See, I've already gotten enough. I've turned over there. See, I just chunk a few fireballs at him before. Come on. This is so unpredictable. You think you're far enough away and he can still hit you. Oh, I have no health left. Oh, I need some magic too, maybe. Alright, 1 more hit. Come on. Get away. Oh, and 1 more. Oh, that's embarrassing. 1 hit. All it would take was 1 fireball. Alright, let's give this another shot. But like I said, that's the one thing about dying. I'll get my souls right away, but and look at that, I've already messed up on the way back. That's the other thing that I do will give some advice is once you've died and you're getting back to the boss, don't try to rush it. I mean, you can run past all of them if you want sometimes, but a lot of times I'll make a lot of mistakes rushing through the smaller guys just to get back to the big guy. And because of that, I've already had to use a healing. Like I said, I'm going to rush to get my souls as fast as I can and then lock on as quick as I can because, like I said, he can come out of nowhere. See, look at that. Half a second later, I would have been hit majorly. There we go. That's better. Oh, that's still pretty good. Alright, come on. Was not in range. Remember, he rarely does just 1 strike, so if you can do 1 hit between a strike, you might be able to do it and then dodge, but don't always try that. Yeah, this is going way better than the first time. Yeah, he's definitely about to transform. Oh, I really wanted to get a few fireballs before that went down. But that's okay, it looks like he's far enough away. There we go, start using your spear. I'm getting a little lucky here where he's using his... Oh, never mind, I jinxed it. Come on. Oh, this is going as well as the first time, come on. I just need him to... There we go, see, he's kind of spun himself around with that attack. There we go, see. Second try, that's not too bad. I got all my souls, and I got the extra souls for beating the crystal beast thing. And I'll get souls for that. I'm also going to do. I'm gonna also try to fight that sword master here in a little bit without going to the fire link, because there's a way to sort of cheese him. I'm gonna try to see if I can get to work. It works about one out of, I don't know, half the time, about half the time, maybe a third of the time. It's an easy way to kill him. Although with the fireballs I have, I can kill him pretty easily anyways. But like I said, I'm gonna try to do everything before I get to the Firelink Shrine, so I can just have a whole bunch of souls to level up with it first. Even though that's the sword I just picked up is useless, I'll probably just throw it in my box. I try not to. I'll at least try to keep one of everything. Yeah, I do this because of the spear. There's two guys there. I do not want to get knocked off. And that's one thing I have noticed about the pyro build. Anybody who wants to do a sorcery pyro build or whatever at the beginning, the one thing it is a little rougher, unlike before where I just really had a shield, the sword, and every now and then a bow, I'm switching my left-hand item a lot. Some people actually suggest maybe putting the pyro glove in the right hand so you only have one weapon at a time, but I kind of like the idea of having my axe in one hand and being able to throw fireballs in the other. So let's try to kill these as quick as I can so I don't get hit by the arrow. And then I'll try to honestly get rid of the guy. Yeah, there we go. Be able to put them up together. No need to waste a second fireball. I can get rid of this guy pretty easily. Alright. Go around to the left. You can see the sword master up there. I'm going to get to him in a little bit. It's one of the shields. It actually is better than the current shield we have right now, but it's still not 100% physical. So I'll probably change it here in a little bit, but it's not really important. Also, be careful if you try to get the shield before fighting those things. You kind of notice they woke up. Get that ember. I'm going to go around here. I believe we're going to have another homeward bone. You definitely want to get some homeward bones because I'm going to go ahead and turn one into those crows up on top pretty soon. Yeah. At the beginning of the game, you know. In late game, I have to get through some of the optional bosses, optional areas. There's actually like an infinite homeward bone, so you won't need them anymore after that, but... And honestly, the bonfires, there's so many in most of the worlds, and with all the shortcuts, I very rarely ever needed the homeward bone. But we're going to go back around, we're going to go ahead and take care of the swordmaster. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the shield right now. Like I said, it is a little better in pretty much every area, so... well, pretty soon, in Lothric, we'll get a 100% shield at that point, and I'll definitely... put that on, just in case. If anything, I like it for the bots. Okay, we gotta pull him. There's a little spot coming up. Make sure he follows you. And it's very tricky sometimes to get onto this spot right here. Sometimes you have to kind of drop and roll back. I have fallen quite a few times. Because it's so easy for me to fall, it's pretty easy for the computer to fall. Let's see if I can get him to do it. There. Yep, there he goes. Bye-bye. Now, if you're worried that, you know, I was wanting his items, and now he's dead, and his dead body is where the items show up, right? So, now there's no way to get to him. Don't worry. Just like in Bloodborne and pretty much all of the Souls, whenever you die by falling off, your pile ends up where you fell off. And in the case of most enemies, all you have to do is refresh the area, and their items will be where they normally spawn. We're getting close to 30 minutes. I'm going to try to... I'll get this guy's items, and then I'm going to try to do the rest of the items in the Firelink Shrine. Using the tree jumping technique. Which, that may take the longest. I may be fast-forwarding through some of that. So if you see a bit of me jumping a lot, fast-forwarding, that's just to save time. Because... even the most hardcore of Dark Souls players can't always get there in the first shot. Go ahead and take care of these because they will ambush you. But I'm going to go up here and get the... if you're doing a Dex build, this is a great starting item. In fact, I would consider this the starting item for a Dex. It's basically a ninja katana. Like I said, I started with Neo, so here's one of the first items I used in my first playthrough. My first playthrough, if you want to know, I did do a quality build. For those who don't know, that means I try to have equal strength and equal dexterity. I got turned around here all the time. Which is good for a first playthrough because it basically allows you to wield the majority of the weapons. The only weapons you're not going to be able to wield in that area is the ones that scale off of magic and some of the more bulkier strength items. Now this tower is locked. Once you have 20,000 souls, if you can get 20,000 souls and you have time, you can get it. But right here you can use the tree. You're trying to get up the tree and then jump onto that ledge. And like I said, this may take me a few times. Yeah, sometimes I take the weapon. I know it doesn't actually make you any faster, but I just feel like it's fast. Yeah, almost got that. That would have been nice, getting on like the second or third try. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just quickly do this. Hold on. Alright. Yeah, sometimes I get good at this and then I get worse at it. Alright, I think... Let's see. There we go. After like the 50th try. Alright, we can pick up this item. Like I said, through here you'll have this crow's nest that you can drop items in. And you can get stuff. Right now, I would suggest you can do one of the fire bombs, one of the homeward bones. The homeward bones will actually give you part of the sun. The Praise the Sun. I call it the Praise the Sun armor set. And you can get the rest of it. A couple other items pretty soon with it. So you hit leave. Don't hit discard. Hit leave. And then they'll go pickle pea, pickle pum. And then you just grab it back up. And you do get a gesture for that. You can drop a fire bomb. And it'll give you, I think it's a large Titanite shard. I mean, might as well. Especially with, like I said, I'm a Pyro. So fire bombs aren't going to be as important. We're getting really close to 30 minutes. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you where where your first Estus, which early Estus Flask shard and the Silver Covetous Ring will do that, and then I'll probably end it for this video. This is great to have at the very beginning, especially as a Pyro build, because I'm going to try to get 2 magic flasks and then the 1. Now, one of these walls is an illusionary wall. If you're online, usually someone has marked it. If you're online and no one's marked it, please just drop a message. That way, first timers who are going through here know which wall it is. So we're gonna run, then we're just gonna roll down here. There'll be a treasure chest, and this ring will basically increase the amount of souls that you get. And it's a really great early item along with the Estus. So I'll teach you what to do with the Estus Flask next time. But we're gonna go ahead and end this right here. We'll finish up the Firelink Shrine to move on to Lothric Castle in the next episode. Kratos out.